Hello, hello.
Hello.
What a nice looking group. So is that pretty much it? Oh, I'm sorry. We have a moderator. So let's now.
Okay, we're that multimedia recording is allowed here. Please turn off your cell phones or on vibrate, and we'll be opening.
What are we, Brad and Angelina?
It's all right with me.
Come out in the hall. You can take all the film movie you want.
Okay. My name is Melissa Johnston. I'm from ThundercatsNow.com. And we have guests today, Larry Kenney. And Gerrianne Raphael. Okay, first question. How did you two get started in acting?
Oh my goodness. I started when I was 4 years old. My father was a pianist for CBS, and he played on a program which you all were not even born yet, on a radio show called Pretend, and it was a children's show, and that was my first job. And I carried the script and had it memorized because I was what I was doing and I couldn't read. So that was how I started in radio back then, and I've been acting and in plays and doing things. Got started.
Well, I started in radio too. I was 15 in Illinois. Through a series of fortunate occurrences, I got a job at a local radio station in Peoria, Illinois, as a disc jockey. Spinning golden wax, you know. And since I had been, believe it or not, a class clown in school. Yeah, a little bit. Doing, silly, crazy voices. In fact, I like to joke that I wish I had a nickel. Well, I do have a nickel for every teacher who, would say, Larry, I hope when you grow up you find a way to make a living with your little voices and jokes. Screw me, screw you. So I incorporated characters into my show, impressions and things like that, and then that led to, pardon me, commercials and doing. Well, for over 30 years, I've been the voices of Count Chocula serial on TV, and don't crap, it'll kill you. This is why we don't want to tape it. I got a call Monday from General Mills. Larry, Count Chocula, and for about the same period of time, I've been Sonny the Cocoa Puffs bird. Because the bird. Up here, I won't go for Cocoa Puffs. So I found that the voices led to that, and then of course, lo and behold, voices on the cartoon, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
A long time ago I was the littlest dwarf on the Ajax commercials. And it smells good too. And I do a lot of little boys in a nice way, of course. A tiny step forward in man's quest for flavor.
I didn't know that was you. That's the funny thing, because I'm sure Gerrianne will say the same things happen to her, that we as actors meet other actors, and you don't talk about acting because that's what you do. But once in a while, like sitting here, I'll say, "I didn't know you did that," even though I've known her for 35 years.
characters that you played on the original series. The ones that you did. Chilla.
Well, Pumyra was basically my heroic character, and so that was kind of straightforward, and I think, I was trying to think back, and Larry said, why don't you do the little bit of Pumyra? And I panicked, because I don't remember, what I did, but I just... But Chilla was another story, because Chilla blew breath.
And you finished that sentence. Guitar is another story. Sorry, she was the original Thundercats host.
So I had a hard time blowing out my breath. I not to be able to get away from this thing anyway. And I would go, and then I had absolutely no voice left to speak. So what I devised was to breathe it in and go, and that would sound to you all as though I was blowing it out. But then after having done that, then I could talk on it and I could say as many words as I had to that were there, and I could continue talking for quite a while because
I didn't know you did Chilla.
So that was Chilla.
Very nice. Yes.
You not only did Lion-O and Jacqueline and several other secondary characters on the voices from the original series on the DVD set.
Yeah. Well, we all did. The entire cast of Thundercats, with maybe an exception of one or two here or there.
Occasionally somebody else would
But the cast was based.
And we did many different characters,
Yeah.
and they would come with a sketch and say, okay, everybody try this, whether it was a boy or a girl. The sex of it didn't matter. You tried out for all of them. And we'd have to stand there in front of each other and audition for this extra new
It was friendly. It was friendly.
Yeah, it was all
There were
right.
times I held back because I was tired. So the cast of, I don't think people realize this, that the six of us did all the voices. So we would each of us was a Thundercat, of course. Each of us was a major
Other character.
a villain or
And then who else came up?
Yeah,
That
the
they
Rover
needed-
Burbles. I was Safari Joe, who was in several episodes.
Right.
In fact, it got to the point where we did 130 episodes by the end of the show. So I remember about maybe 80 episodes into it, he'd already done 100 characters, and a new character would come up, and they would say, "Okay, here's the character. Larry, why don't you try see what you think this guy?" And I'd go, "Oh, I got enough of that. We must get the Thundercats, yes." And say, "Good, but." Or that's Jacqueline, and it was. I mean, you can only do so much. So, but we all did.
This just reminds me of my daughter Deirdre is here now, and at one point I was up for a commercial, and it was a bunch of dogs that were I can't even remember what the commercial. I was a Zsa Zsa Gabor type, and this very petite other actor was sitting next to me, and he said, and who am I meant to be? What? And you're sort of a Don Knotts character on like the Andy Griffith Show. And he said, I've never seen the Andy Griffith Show. And Deirdre leaned over to me and said, "Oh, Mama, I guess he doesn't have a television set."
He doesn't have an old black and white television. So, speaking of the dogs thing, Bob McFadden, who played Snarf.
He was wonderful.
God bless him. God bless his soul. Rest in peace. Funniest man I've ever met in my life. Bob would, we would do a take of one scene, and actors, you do a take, and then you look up, see what kind of reaction you're getting from the other side of the glass. And a lot of times they just ignore you. They're going. Bob would look up, and he would do one, and they would say, Bob, can you give us that again? And and say, "Mother, they hated it." And then he would do one that everybody in the room knew was perfect. Couldn't be any better. And he'd look at the mic and he'd go, "Would you gild Olympus?" But the thing I was going to say was that sound effects like you would not believe. He could do dogs, different kinds of dogs. Then he could do 2 dogs or 3. And he would do a dog, and then 2, and you can actually hear as many as 8 different dogs.
He was extraordinary. I've never.
Yeah, amazing guy.
And he did Jack Benny. He was wonderful, Jack Benny too. And of course, he was his nephew as well. So he was himself and Snurf, and then he was
Snarf.
Snarf.
Both the most annoying creatures that ever walked. But the new Snarf that doesn't talk, just snarfs, and we're all happy about that. There's always one person that likes it, but only one.
Now, Gerrianne, you touched on for Chilla's Boys.
Yes.
Question is, were you given artistic liberties with the characters that you voiced?
Well, when they gave you the sketch of the character, and you brought to it whatever came to you as then you brought your own. That's why you were hired. I mean, it was for that very original creativity, and that's in a cartoon is that you bring all of that to it, and that's why they hire you. So they don't really lay much on you. I mean, they might give you a concept of this is like I said, a Don Knotts character for that other thing. They might give you a suggestion like that, and then you have to find a way of bringing that to life to satisfy.
And then once they decide, yes, that's what we like,
then
that's the standard. So there are times that later, when you, for whatever reason that day, you were a little off that character, they would let's play him some.
Play some of the old tapes.
Some of the old
so
tapes.
we can hear what it sounded. Yeah.
That would especially happen if the character would reoccur after several episodes.
And you don't remember what you
exactly
did
what it sounded
when
like.
you.
Yeah. So they play it for you. And, oh yeah. Now I remember I had that little nuance. Gee, I'd forgotten all this stuff. Probably in a few years I will.
At one time, I did a commercial that was called Pal Vitamin. We sang a song together. You're probably all too young to remember that one too. Anyway, and I was the pink fish, and it was it's a secret product. And so what we auditioned was airline copy. I mean, it had absolutely nothing to do with. And months later, you booked it, or you didn't. And in this case, I did. And they certainly had to play what you had done because it sounded like back then or what you had done. So that's very important.
Or you may have at your audition given them several different voices.
Exactly, and you don't know which one
they like. Have you ever had this happen to you? I audition for something, get booked on it, and I get there, and I'll say, "Can you play? Do you have the audition?" Usually they bring what I did in the audition just to remind, because I did 5 or 6 for you, and this happened to me once, and they played it, and I went, "That's Bob Caliban. That's not." Somebody booked the wrong guy, and I can't do that voice. One time,
oh my
Bob
God!
Caliban, and I just told them they paid me for the session because they had to, I showed up, and but Bob got all the residuals.
Well, it's not exactly like that. No, it's different. But I heard myself on a commercial, and I went, I auditioned for that, and I've never been booked, and I didn't get paid, and what is that? And it was a Campbell soup commercial, and I had the opening line on the commercial, and I said, "Let me have your soup." And then it went on to talk about the soup. And I called my agent, and they said, no, Lynn Lipton, who actually played Chitara. And they said, no, Lynn Lipton. But I said, I'm sorry, but that's me on that thing. And so they had to call. Oh, we lifted that from the audition. Oh, and it if I hadn't heard myself, I would have lost out on a commercial that was
Wow.
very... And like you'd hear it, and you never came back again. I mean, in other words, you try and listen to the commercial, but if you missed the first line, that was it. Business that you have to watch out for.
I've had millions and millions. Literally, it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but I've heard. It really pisses me off every time. Millions.
So if you were doing this as voice actors, what would you be doing?
Starving. I'd be starving. I have no other skill. I don't know. What would I like to do? But,
Well,
since I started, you started when you were.
Well, I've done a lot of stage work and Broadway shows, and I sing, and that's so the voice is part of what I do. But most important thing to me, I adore doing voiceovers. It's great fun, and it uses all those different muscles. But as I was telling Larry before, I have this wonderful resume with all these shows and so forth, and young people, I will do a new show, and they can't wait to read your who's who and your biography, and you read it, all this stuff, and they go, "Oh, you were on Thundercats!" Oh. And it's like that's the major thing that people are
Shakespeare in the
impressed
Park.
with. All those other things, so that's so if I weren't doing voices, I would still be on the stage.
Probably something in the medical field. Why? Wait a minute. Why is that so funny? I actually wanted. I would have been a doctor, but they wanted me to take like science courses.
Oh.
Like that's.
I think we've covered that.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because usually those are like, in episode 84, Lion-O walked in and the Jordan was in his right hand, and then, if anybody was going to ask that, it's fine. I'm just saying. I wonder what. Go ahead.
This is to you, Larry, for the.
Are you okay? While you're thinking, I have a question. Can two people be considered a panel? Should be like a.
You up there, it is.
It'd be a, oh!
No, not like that. Like, you have all these characters.
As I was saying,
Actually, from the news series.
There's a talk host and two voice actors here, so if you need help.
Okay.
so then I was 18. And
Have you? And do you have?
Have you?
No, I have not.
Yeah.
Well, I was not asked to be in the new series.
I would have watched it if you
Part
were
of the
on
new
it.
series, I might have taken more interest and watched it. But
If I wasn't on it and you were, I have watched it.
Yes.
Yes, it's fantastic. They don't. You guys like it?
Yeah.
Anybody not be honest? Anybody not like the series? Be honest. These guys, yeah.
You're one of those.
Oh, you mean you're going to ask me a question like explain why it's animation? They can do whatever they want. No, I don't know. They did change some things, but as actors, we're not involved with that because we can't understand it. I can't understand what they mean.
Well, that was
just
one of
do
the
what they put in
questions
front of
was.
you and try and justify it in a way. But if you ask too many questions, it ruins it.
Just let it
do
go.
the work.
Just enjoy it. It's artistic license.
Oh
And we
yes.
get paid hundreds of dollars.
Larry, how are you with
Mama.
I'm so sorry. What can I tell you? Of course I can't.
Is that you too? First she does.
Okay.
Retroactively kicking you off. We're going to erase every episode. That was me calling you, by the way. I reached out.
No, I was commenting on the fact that her phone was ringing.
That's my. I'm appalled at my bad manners to not check my phone. I apologize to one and all.
And this will be about the same about the time that we'll be opening questions to the audience for the panel. And do we have questions?
Yeah. Sweet. Well, you guys, first off, I love you guys. Like Thundercats is one of the best series of all time, both the new show and the little show. Thank you. Gaming show. I want to ask, the toys also were like some of my favorites, as well as the He-Man figures. Did you guys ever get like?
Not a penny. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, did you guys ever get like a free figure?
Not a thing. Nothing. I heard that it was worth a lot, and I don't have one. No.
Did you know there are new ones? What do you guys think?
Are they?
Yeah. What do you guys think of the new series?
Well, that's the new old Lion-O, which I really like. Which is confusing, I know. Yeah.
You can take it.
Leave me alone. I love this guy. This is the hand me the original toy. I have a few of them.
Okay, good. I was making sure you had it.
Oh, isn't that nice of you? You going to give this to me?
Yeah, what if you didn't have one?
I have. Well, I just yesterday gave my 6-year-old grandson one. They live out here in Malibu, Bandai was nice enough. I did a signing for them in San Diego for a couple hours, so they sent me a box of 3 or 4 of these, and 2 or 3 of the big ones, and a couple of those swords. So, thank you so much. I would take it from you if I didn't have some, but I know you paid for that, so how much you have. I can sign it for you. Of course, that's $1,000. We'll do this. Come over to the table.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll send him some pictures too. Always think.
Yeah, but I could sign that too. And I'll only charge $100.
Oh, undercutting me, are you?
All right, do you have any more questions?
First question for both of you. What did you think when the...
You only get one.
What did you think when ball came out and were leaked online?
That's for you.
I haven't seen them, so I have no answer.
Haven't you really?
No. I do my best to keep up. My daughters try and help me on the internet. It's not my thing. I do it, but I don't know. I never let Larry answer.
I wish you'd teletype me once in a while. Send me a telegram or something. Morse code, at least. Of course, I've heard them for years and years. The first time I heard them many years ago, I thought, oh no, God, no. Is there anybody who's not familiar with the outtakes? Okay. Well, the dirtiest one goes. No, they're not all dirty, but there's some that. Like, what the fuck is a salmon plant? Well, they didn't use that line, but they did a record because Gerrianne and the other 2 of you who have never heard them. It's Panther. It's Earl Hyman going, I'm going to have to check and Thundercat and thing fix the salmon plant. And then back on To this day, there's a cab driver in New York. I have never only tell you from seeing him whiz by, as he yells out, Lion-O, what the fuck is that? He's an African-American gentleman, probably now in his 60s. But from the day that came onto the internet, it's Manhattan. So often does he see me on it, but maybe once every 3 years. And he's got this honk. He goes, da 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 da, and I know it's him. But I don't know which kid. There's a million cats. Which one until I hear him, and he goes, I hope I beat her. Now, but the question was, so here's what I thought. Well, first of all, there are things from that we, cuss words or just funny things we could say that would. Back in our day, when we were recording those things, there was no internet, as far as we know it now, And we used to joke about, like when somebody said something dirty or what he cut out, the joke was, that'll go on the engineer's Christmas reel.
Right.
Because engineers would save all those things, and then they were having a party they said, well, they were taping Thundercats, or I had James Earl Jones in the studio. You want to hear what he says so that's whatever. It's available to the world. So my first thought then was, what if some little kids hear it, or fans of the Thundercats? Many of us now. Well, all of a sudden I'm getting emails. Love the outtakes. Mr. Kenney, what the F is with them? But
Okay.
that's pretty much it.
Do we have another question? Go ahead.
Actual cats at your house?
Real cats?
Yeah, or just Thundercats toys?
Oh, no, I don't have any cats.
You have stuffed animal cats.
Kathleen again.
Microphone over here.
Yes, I have some artificial cats at home. I'm not a cat person.
And
I'm more of a dog person. But that's all right. No, I don't have any cats.
I have one cat that I like to stuff. Because I am a dog person too. My wife is a cat person. So we have a cat.
His name is Lion-O.
No. Her name is Sassy. That's another reason I don't like it. I say, Sassy. Is your cat's name Lion-O? All right. Now that cat, I would like a cat. But I'm a cat, but my wife likes cats, so my theory is if Mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. So.
All right. Any more questions? Okay, go ahead.
You ever just look at a script and say, who writes this stuff? I really got to read this.
It's happened, but not necessarily in Thundercats. But there have been other times when you get a copy and you get. Oh. Especially commercials.
Who talks like this? We belong commercial.
I mean, yeah.
But of course, you go ahead and do it.
You're getting paid for it. You try and make sense out of it. You try and justify what's being said. And if you can't, you say, "Can we explain this, please? Because I don't think I can say that and mean it right. One try."
How about if I say it this way?
Yeah, and then you make a suggestion, and they might say, "Oh, yeah, that sounds all right."
But writers, if there's a writer, if the guy who wrote it or the lady who wrote it is at the session, forget it. What they wrote is.
Oh, and then there's the lawyer.
Sorry.
The lawyer who makes it, lawyer perfect, and particularly with commercials, where every word is meant and exactly right, and they're watching for whatever that they could be sued about. So there's really, in a radio spot, you have much more leeway, and you can add a word here and but in a TV voiceover, you absolutely achtung the words.
I have this little I could play if, let's say, Gerrianne and I are doing a commercial together, which unfortunately we haven't done for years and years. You're always working alone. Like you'll be outside, reading your scripts, or even maybe running through it, rehearsing, whatever. Then they call you in and introduce themselves. And this is Bob. He's our writer. And I like to go, "Oh, Gerrianne was asking who wrote this crap." Caesar.
Yeah, there was. Do you all? Are you familiar with? There's somebody who knows Adolf. He had the most mellifluous, beautiful, dark voice that was just glorious.
Oh, he was a dark.
That's very true. But Larry does a splendid imitation of Adolf at his worst. So.
Yeah. Worst. And we don't know what reasons he was at his worst.
Well.
Maybe a long flight, I don't know. Too much. Anyway, even at his worst, when he stepped up to the mic, he was incredible. But he would, what character he would play. But
Yeah.
I've got, just last night I was listening to some outtakes with, I don't think these are on the internet. They might be, well, where else would I have gotten them? But anyway, I don't remember which one was he, the Tiger Sharks or whatever. The Honeymoon. Anyway, you could hear him, they're saying, Adolf, he would lie on the floor.
He would immediately finish it, lie flat on the floor.
And then they'd say, Adolf, you're lying, and he'd jump up. He's a little man.
Very tiny.
You guys are going to do that. How you get to like with a voice? How you doing? Okay, so we're going to have to bring him back to Thundera.
A split person. I mean, it was just extraordinary. So I would say that was the most bizarre thing. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're the moderator.
Go ahead.
Do you have a favorite episode that you like working on during the series?
I like them all.
Yeah, we just had such a good time doing it. You know, that it was just okay. Oh, here's the script. I don't recall particularly one that stands out that I liked him on. I guess I like the ones that I had the most to do on. You know, because you like to do your thing. And the more, and you know, you have, I have one line here, and I have another line here. But I liked when I had more to do. So those were my favorites.
I always go, my line, bullshit. My line, crap. Me again. It's natural. Whatever one that you know. I don't have a favorite. In one way, I guess I do. I would say probably the pilot episode, which was an hour. And because, of course, that was the first ones, we were so excited. But they were all equally well written, and I don't know.
Now, were you able to view the episodes? Did you have? No, not a chance.
No,
Okay.
to view it toward what end you?
Actually, to catch the episode in full after you had recorded.
Oh no,
Not until it was on the air.
Yeah, not until it was on the air because you never recorded. Very much different in terms of timing.
So how many episodes ahead?
Well, we would do 4. We would work
2 days.
2 days a month, and we do
Two a day.
2 a day. Yeah.
Every Thursday and Friday we'd work one episode Thursday morning, one episode. We had to do that because, well, first of all, you do with any TV show, whether it's animated or it's a sitcom or whatever. Before it's been bought, when you're doing for spec, for what we call for spec, you do 13 episodes, and then, well, no, I'm sorry, you do a pilot.
And then you get
And
bought
then
and
you
you're
show
not.
it, then you go around the networks and try to sell it. Yeah. And then if you sell it, so then they sold it to, what on Cartoon Network first, was it? It was on ABC or something. Anyway, then they buy usually 13 episodes. Because they want to see what kind of ratings it gets. You know, so originally you do 13 episodes before it's even on the air. And then if they buy, then they'll buy another 13 or another 6. And then after that, then they buy a year, and another year. But we're only on 2 years. Anyway, but the reason we would only do 2 shows, first of all, like I said, we started recording it in October of '83, wasn't on the air in '85, so we were working almost a year. It was 13 episodes before it ever hit the air. And one of the reasons for it is that once they sold the pilot, that sounded like a cat, didn't it? sounded annoying, like snark. But where was I, Mom? The animator, the writers, first of all, time to come up, and to write, and the animators time to get what you've done already animated.
Because you didn't do it to picture, you did the audio, and then they drew the pictures, which is why it always seemed so that your words were coming out of the right place. I mean, they drew it to what they heard.
They animate to their voices.
So it was very married. Doing a new cartoon that'll be on the Disney Channel in January called Gaspard and Lisa, which is for a very young audience, and it's the most popular cartoon in France. It's been done in England, and now they're doing it here. And a very large black rabbit, and it's very difficult to dub exactly when someone's going. But anyway, just in relation to your question, that we won't see that until January, and I've been doing that.
Well, I'm not going to watch it because it's for children, and because I'm not. If you didn't know much Thundercats, I'm not going to watch. I'm sorry, I love you like that. If you do promise to watch it,
Okay, we have
acting is a very vicious business.
Yes.
Frank?
Is there any aspect about the new series that blew you away?
Go ahead. She likes all of it. Well, a very good question. First of all, I knew it was going to be good because when they asked me to be involved in it, I said, let me see a script. Some of the people involved. Because I know what Thundercats means to you guys. And I would not be involved in something that you guys would. Or I would do it under a different name. Because the money's good. I never went in. Hey, listen, from emails and talking with you guys back and forth all these years, it's beyond to many people, it's beyond just something fun to watch. I know that. Thundercats has a very special place. Maybe other shows do too. I don't know. I'm not involved in those, but I know from the letters I've gotten. I've received emails for years from people telling me childhood. Some of them explain graphically. You can imagine. They would say things like, I would go in, or the place I was staying. I would go in and close that door, and when I was watching Thundercats, that all went away. And that was the one half that I, wasn't afraid I was going to get beat, or I wasn't afraid, and so I know what it means to people, and so I would never be involved, and I'm not trying to be noble here, never be involved in something that was going to denigrate that or take that away from people or make them angry. I know you guys were all sitting here thinking for the last, when once you heard they're going to make a new series, they don't mess it up. They better not mess with the Code of Thundera, because that's what the show is all about: truth, honesty, loyalty, justice. These people who, from Warner Brothers, that I met before we ever started recording, are huge fans themselves as kids. They begged me to be, because we love the show, and we're going to make it what it was. Look a little different, sound a little different, but people are going to, you fans, they told me, we're not going to tune in and God, it's Pumyra, it's the Thunder, it's the camouflage. So that's it.
Okay, one final question. All right, go ahead.
If they made a live-action Thundercats now with the talent pool now, whom would you want to be?
I don't think I'd want to see a live action one. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Brad. I don't know. I can't even fathom that. just somebody who would, who would look good in the tights. And no, I really don't know.
Tell that story that you told before about them playing the new thing and then the Thunder was you. Highlight.
Oh, well, several of you have come up to me today and said this to me, that when you first saw the first episode, and there was a moment that, especially, I'll tell you what the moment was. When we first, in San Diego, I think it was, when we did a panel, and the first time that they showed it on the huge screen, we were all backstage, the whole cast and the producers and the writers, backstage kind of going, and from the opening music, the crowd, we hear the crowd roaring on the other side of the screen, the curtains, So we thought, it's safe to go out there. We snuck around in the back, and there came a moment when I was playing Claudius, but it's Claudius, but kind of go back to your original Lion-O voice for this once. So I did. And the moment on screen when Claudius lifts up the sword of omens and goes, thunder, thunder, and the crowd started roaring. And I just figured, well, yeah, because it's the, and John Burton, one of the writers, said, that's because they recognize it's you, and that's an homage to you. And
So just do it once. Just do it.
Yeah. Thunder, thunder, thunder.